Hey guys, David Wilson here, Delaware Crawlspace Company. We're here today, under construction, and we're going to be talking about this crazy looking thing. So, what is this for? Why do I need it in my crawlspace? So let's get at it. So what does it mean when we condition a crawlspace? So what we essentially are doing, once we've removed the insulation in your crawlspace and we've maybe done a mold treatment and we've encapsulated the crawlspace, we've sealed up all the foundation vents, we're going to put a spray foam product around the perimeter of the foundation. Now, other companies would just want to use some type of insulation, fiberglass, or and just maybe air seal the best they can with like a spray foam gun, just to try to stop air infiltration. But we want to completely stop air from getting into the crawl space. So essentially a conditioned crawl space, we want to keep the cold air out in the wintertime and the humidity out in the summertime. So the benefit of using a full spray foam application, which is what we use, is we're going to be able to make that happen. So with the spray foam, it's going to make a complete air seal. So we're not, the winter time, your floors are going to be warmer because we're not going to be allowing cold air to come in. In the summertime, because we've air sealed it, it's keeping the humidity out, which means the dehumidifier runs less, which also means you're getting some energy efficiency out of your home. So what we know is, once we've completed our system, if the temperature outside is, let's say, 35 to 40 degrees, we're going to, through these air inducers and conditioning your crawl space, we're going to be able to keep your crawl space temperature maybe somewhere between 62 to 64 degrees on an average winter day. If the temperature drops to, let's just say, 0 degrees or even below zero, which I seen it here a few years ago at my personal house. The temperature at like 3 o'clock in the morning, got down to like, -5, which is very rare here in Delaware. But when it got down that cold, I was monitoring, what my crawl space was doing. And what I noticed was and throughout the winter, the colder it becomes outside, the more my house needs more heat, which means because I'm sealed up the crawl space so airtight, as my house needs more heat, that means more air is blowing into the crawl space. So it just keeps getting warmer and warmer. So when it gets that cold, I've seen it as low as about, the temperature in the crawl space as high as about 71 to 72 degrees. So there's no downside to conditioning your crawl space whatsoever. So when we condition a crawl space, this is not what we use. So this is what most people would do. You're going to probably see this on almost all jobs that are conditioned. What they would do is they would cut a hole in the duct, the supply side of the ductwork, and they would basically just fasten one of these to the ductwork, and it just opens and closes just like a regular supply grill in your house, and you're just going to let air flow into the crawl space. This is not what we recommend. It's the cheapest option, although it still introduces that air into the crawl space that you need, but it's certainly not the best option for you. So at Delaware Crawlspace Company, this is what you're going to get in your crawl space. This crazy looking thing. What this is it's an air inducer. So we're going to actually still be doing the same thing as the other method. We're going to be cutting a small hole into the supply side of your ductwork, just a little bit larger than this, and we're going to secure this to the supply side of the duct. If you notice inside here, we've got different settings, so we can adjust this to allow more airflow, less airflow, depending, but in most cases, we're just going to keep it at the factory setting, which is 50 CFMs. And then just depending on the crawl space size, do we want to introduce more air or less air? We would just add an additional HVAC air inducer if you have a large crawl space. So what this thing does, versus the other method, the other type of grill, you're going to be able to get just say air into the ductwork or smells if you did have it in your crawl space, which you shouldn't if it's a conditioned encapsulated crawl space. But what's also, spiders and bugs or mice or anything can climb through the holes and just get into the ductwork. There's no special settings on it, so it's either kind of full on or you restrict it down. Whereas this actually has a built-in damper to it. So when the air comes on, the damper is going to open. When the air turns off, the damper is going to close. So we're not letting anything back into our HVAC system. So this is just a much better method of conditioning the crawl space. So in ending, if you do not have a conditioned crawl space, it's definitely something that you're going to want to think about. You might even have a crawl space currently that is encapsulated. It has a dehumidifier in it, but your HVAC system and your ductwork is in the crawl space, but someone never conditioned the crawl space for you. It's going to be huge. You're going to notice a warmth in the floors, a more comfortable environment, a more energy efficient house. There's no downside to doing this, like I said in the beginning. So if this is something that you're considering, or you just want a more comfortable crawl space, then just give us a call. You can contact the office at 302-703-1880. Like us on our Facebook page and YouTube, and we'll see you next time here under construction.